Well, it's time for us to find out what's happening at Faith Community Church, Faith North on 8th in Red Oak, and we have a new first-time guest with us from Faith, Melissa J. McDonald. Melissa, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jerry. Good to be here.
Melissa, let's see, wouldn't be Johnny.
No, it would not be Johnny.
Trying to think of something
My
with
parents
Connie.
were not that cruel.
Trying to think of something with Connie or David or...
Well, I think my middle name really fits with, like, sunshine, so think of that, like...
Jubilant.
Joy!
Joy.
Jubilant. What name is that?
Joy.
Joy.
Yes, Joy flows a little better than
It
Jubilant.
does. Melissa Jubilant.
Melissa Joy McDonald.
Yeah.
And Melissa has now been out of school for how long?
I don't really know that that's something we should say on the radio.
Is that right?
But it's been a while I've been out of high school, yes.
You pretty well grew up in Red Oak.
Well, we moved here when I was 15.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, so...
Well, you're older than I thought you were.
I know I am.
I can see.
I'm older than I look, praise the Lord.
I see.
But yeah, so we moved here when I was 15, and so, yeah, I don't know, it's my hometown, but it's not, but it is, so...
Well, we're glad that you moved here. We're glad that you came with your family and that you stayed here as long as you have, and it's nice to get a chance to visit with you this morning.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Basics of Faith Community Church, located where? Give us, from your perspective, what you'd like for our listeners to most know about Faith Community Church.
Faith Community Church. I love Faith Community Church. I really do, and I could be a little biased because I'm the pastor's daughter, but I moved back to Red Oak 3 years ago after working at a church in Orlando and then a church in Idaho and then living overseas as well. And so it's been really fun to be back at home and really fun to be back at my home church. And my job that I do now takes me all over to churches, and I'm always happy to come home. Faith Community, it's, on the north side of Red Oak, and we've got a great facility, but beyond that, we've got just great people who just love our community, love each other. It's a welcoming place. We are not perfect, and I love that. I love that messy people can come in. I love that you sometimes just don't know what you're going to hear on a Sunday morning, and it's just a really cool thing. So great people. We've got some great programs going on, but just people who love the Lord and just want to serve our community and serve each other. And for me, that is what it's about, and that's what makes living in Red Oak so fun for me, and coming home to Red Oak so fun for me.
I guess we should point out that Melissa is the daughter of Dave and Connie McDonald. Yep. Dave and his lovely wife, Connie, of course, pastor of the Faith Community Church. And the perspective of the preacher's daughter, how would you relate that to people? How is it being the preacher's daughter versus, and I guess you wouldn't know since you've always been.
I have always been the preacher's daughter, and it is challenging at times. It's really not my favorite thing all the time because people are mean and nasty sometimes. And a lot of times people think, well, if they're a Christian, then they're better. But Christians, we're all sinners. And so there's just icky people everywhere you go. So there's nobody perfect. And sometimes it's hard to be involved in the church and see that ickiness, and especially when it can sometimes be aimed at your family or at your dad or something. Thankfully, that's not something that's happened in Red Oak very often, and all of that. But it's an interesting perspective. I love being a pastor's kid. I loved being a pastor when I left here. I love ministry, and I love that we did family ministry together. We did it as a family, and I really love that. So to be able to have been here, been a part of this community for the last however many years, has been really neat to watch people grow and change and just be a part of that. So that's a really unique perspective of being a pastor's kid. And pastor's kids usually go one of two ways. They either do really well and they love the Lord and they love the church, or they become just completely against the church and completely against people, because you do see so much of the nitty gritty and the ickiness, the reality of who people are. And so it's fun for me to see all of that and still really want to be involved in a church and want to be involved in ministry. So
it's nice to see minister families that minister together, and really for your family, it's been very much a family activity. Sometimes I have seen situations where ministers become so involved in their ministry that they neglect their families.
Yeah.
And to the sad lack of a relationship with their children, and sometimes even their wives who are not as actively involved in the ministry as your wife, as your mother is. So it's been a blessing to see how your family functions as a family together in what's very much been a family ministry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of you in a fishbowl being observed.
Yeah.
And sometimes...
And Red Oak's a small town, so everyone knows.
Red Oak's a small town, so everybody knows, or if they don't know, they'll make it up and then pass it on.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
that's what happens in small towns.
Yeah.
Children's Ministry Innovator. You mentioned a minute ago, Melissa Joy McDonald with us this morning for Faith Community Church. You mentioned a few minutes ago that you travel now. Tell us a little bit about why you travel, what you do when you travel, and give us the big picture of what you're doing.
Okay. Well, so Red Oak's my home base, but I work out of Red Oak, but I'm not here a whole lot. And I actually work for our denomination, for our national office, the Christian Missionary Alliance, and I am their national children's I can never remember my title because it's very long. Children's Disciple Making Ministry Specialist. So basically all that means is I help our 2,000 churches in the U.S. do children's ministry better and do family ministry better. And it's awesome. I love it. So I've been working with our national office for about 3 years. I was a consultant, officially became an employee this year, and still have a lot of leeway to do kind of what I want to do. But so I work based out of Red Oak, but I'm on the road a lot, and a lot of times I am in churches helping them do some training, helping them reconfigure how they're doing ministry. It just depends. Last week I was at Hope for Life here in Red Oak, and it was such an honor to be serving in my own community. I loved that because it's not about individual churches, it's about the community. And then Tuesday night I was in Tucson, Arizona at a church, and I'll be at a church way western Nebraska on Saturday and in Colorado on Sunday. So I'm kind of all over, not here a lot. I work at Fairway one night a week when I'm in town, which is not often. So people keep thinking I've quit, but I don't quit. I just am not here. So I do that. I do consulting. I do coaching. So helping people in children's ministry do their job better. I do 6 months at a time with that. And then I do a lot of speaking. I've contributed to a book, so I'm a published author. And just anything involved with ministry and kids, I love.
Who decides what church you're going to go to, when, and where? Who decides that?
Me, basically. I'm booked into 2015 right now. I'm completely booked for the rest of the year into March right now. So I have 2 assistants that help me out with that because it's quite a lot to juggle, and I'm not very detail oriented. I'd rather just do it and not deal with all the details. So it depends. But, if a church calls and they're desperate and if I can fit them in, like Hope for Life wanted me to fit them in, and I could because I was in town. And again, so pleased to serve our community. And so I can sometimes work things in. But I've got to send some emails later today that are going to disappoint some people who want me this fall. So I am booking into late spring right now for next year. So...
Does your length of stay and involvement, evaluation, and eventual input depend on each church's situation, I guess?
Yeah, it really does. And I work for the Christian Missionary Alliance denomination, but I'm also independent of them. So I work with non-alliance churches as well. And so a lot of times I'll go to an area and let the area know I'm there. And then I might get 3 or 4 churches who want me to come and speak or consult or something like that. So it just depends. Typically I'm there for a weekend or a couple days. Sometimes it's longer. I think the most I've been anywhere is about 4 days. But I'll go to an area, and sometimes, like if I go to the Pacific Northwest, I'll rent a car and, do about 800 miles in a week and just go from church to church and area to area. So it just really depends on what they're looking for. Some want a really intensive consultation and idea gathering time, and some just want come and do a 2-hour training. And so it just really depends on the church.
Do you have a one program fits all?
No, absolutely not. I do not. And I don't come in with a program. I come in with some philosophy and some ideas, but I don't come in with a program. In fact, I kind of stray away from coming with a program because you really have to figure out what fits for you, not in your community. So, it just really depends on where you're at and how you can best reach the community that you're in. So I will go into a lot of churches even and say, stop doing Vacation Bible School, VBS, which is kind of like, oh my word, did she just curse? Like, what did she just say? And no, because if there are 8 other churches in a large community doing a really solid Vacation Bible School reaching kids, you need to find your niche. Where are you going to fit that you're going to reach the community in a way that another church won't or can't? Because I really think God created each church differently, just like he created each person differently. So that's kind of my philosophy is let's give you some real foundational stuff and help people understand that, kids ages 4 to 14 are the largest unreached people group in the world right now. And so it's no longer Africa or Asia, it's kids. And so we, as the church, as people who love the Lord, as people who want to love kids and do better with them, have to look at statistics, look at ideas, and then begin to make some changes, and then work with a program. How do we make this program work where we're at, not just we want to do this program?
Melissa Joy McDonald with us this morning. She's the daughter of Pastor Dave and Connie McDonald of Faith Community Church here in Red Oak and is now a children's ministry innovator. I'm going to go with what's on the card here because I can't remember all the other things that you said.
I can't either.
You alluded to a minute ago that each church needs to find, I think you said, its niche. What's the niche of Faith Community Church? What was their place in this area and how do they meet that need?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think our niche is we are a church where messy people are welcome, where you don't have to be perfect to come in the door. I was on staff at 2 separate churches where you had to have a semblance of being put together to walk in the door. And it made me so uncomfortable because Jesus didn't come for the fixed and the put together. He came for the sick and those that just are at the end and don't know what to do. And so I think Faith Community is really great about you can walk in the door in whatever you want to wear, whatever. I mean, people walk in high, people walk in crying, people walk in just desperate, and we welcome them and we want them there. I love that. I think our niche we have a unique niche to kids with behavioral or some sort of special needs. And I think our Red Oak community we just have a lot of kids like that. And so we have found that that's a place where kids can come. And we are playing catch up, trying to figure out how to best reach them. But I go to different church all the time, and I have never been in a church that has as many kids with some sort of behavioral learning, special needs of some sort. And I love that they're welcomed in, and we want to love them, and we don't want to just get them through. We really want them to just feel loved, because I know for some of these kids, they don't feel safe anywhere, and we want them to feel safe at Faith Community, and we want them to feel safe with people. We want to build relationships with them, with our quality, solid team of people who love kids, and build that relationship. So I think that's a niche.
Is that a niche? Excuse me for interrupting you,
fine.
But is that a niche because it was a need or is it because your mother is gifted in being able to meet that niche and meet those needs, or why did that become one of the pillars of Faith Community Church?
I think my mom has something to do with it. I think my dad has something to do with it. But I think the DNA of the church has always been, you come and we'll make this work. We want you here. And so even from the time we first came to the church, we had one family that came, and this woman had 2 boys that were just super ADHD and just out of control. And they had been turned away from church after church. And they walked into our door, and we didn't turn them away. We didn't necessarily know what to do with these crazy boys, but we wanted them to know they were loved. Well, these boys are now graduated from high school. One of them is now serving in our children's ministry and is a solid guy. And so I think that was just kind of that, we're going to make this work. You don't have to find the perfect puzzle piece that you fit here. We just want you to be here, and we're going to make it work. And so I think from that just stemmed that. And really the love, people love, they love our kids. They love our community. And so it's just been this, you bring them and we're going to love them. And it's hard sometimes. And we don't always know what we're doing, but we do know how to love. And so we're seeing God really bless that, and seeing a lot of kids really begin to grasp the love of Jesus. So So I don't know. I think that's just kind of been a grassroots growth type of thing that we want to capitalize on. So, and our children's ministry is is something that we are, or a part of our niche as well. And we're in the process of continuing to make that bigger and better and all of that. But we just want to love whoever comes in the door. I always tell my people, like, our people, I say, I don't care if we even get the point of our lesson across today. I want these kids to know that this is a safe place. Because the thing is, when these kids feel safe somewhere, they grow up. And when life comes crashing down, they remember that was a safe place, and they'll go back. They'll either come back to Faith Community or they'll go to a church because they know they were safe there. And to me, that's what matters. That's what counts.
What are the opportunities for children at Faith Community Church? What programs do you have? At what times specifically oriented toward children?
Yep, we have starting this fall, and I don't have the dates in front of me but I'm actually going to be back in a couple weeks to talk about that, the specific dates. But we do have we have Jump, which is our program for kids age 3 to 4th grade, and that will be starting up later in September. And then we also have our 5th and 6th grade ministry that is starting up in a couple weeks as well. Actually, probably 3 weeks. And again, we'll give you those dates. And then we have our youth ministry. Those are all on Wednesday nights. And then we also have our Sunday program. We have Sunday school for kids, from 0 all the way up to 12th grade. And we're constantly kind of adjusting and doing things where we can just love on our kids. So, and then we do our special events throughout the year as well. Well,
the Lord has truly blessed your youth ministries, and you have seen those, as one terminology, I think you use some of those messy kids come in.
Yeah.
And all of us were messy kids to some extent at some point, come in and become God-fearing, God-loving examples of Jesus and serving other people in a Christ-like way. I mean, that's really what it's all about, pretty fulfilling.
Definitely. I love it. So, I wouldn't trade it.
We're fortunate and blessed to have Faith Community Church, which is really the people of Faith Community Church that love kids, messy or not messy. Kids are just little people.
Yeah.
People, messy or not messy, and realize that we were all there, or still are to some extent, and need God's love and grace and forgiveness, and you'll find that at Faith Community Church.
Yeah. Yep, you will.
So
we're
blessed to have that there.
Yeah.
Well, you're a pretty busy girl then.
I am. It's a little insane. But yeah, I just got home from Arizona last night, and we'll leave again on Saturday, driving out towards Colorado Springs, stopping along the way. So yeah, I stay very busy. I'm gone usually more than half the year, and it works out. It works out. I love what I do, and it's fun to be as young as I am, Jerry, and to have found something you love to do, something you just know you're called to do. So I feel totally blessed, and it's so fun for me to still be able to be a part of the Red Oak community. It's so fun to come home. Nobody cares what I do here, and I love that. I love, out there I'm kind of a big deal. I come home, and it's, oh, well, there's Mel, and I love that. I love that I can bag groceries at Fairway. I love that I can just serve, wipe up puke out of the bathroom at church or whatever needs to be done, and it's fun for me to be a part of this community and just be me, just be the 15-year-old that moved here, and nobody special, and I love that.
Do you subscribe to Financial Peace University principles?
I do. I had to because I knew I would be asked that. No, I do. We do have Financial Peace coming up, and that's going to be starting soon. I have the dates. But I do subscribe to it. I took the class a couple years ago and was kind of already incorporating some of the values and some of the ideas, and I took it again a couple years ago. And when I moved home from Vienna, Austria 3 years ago, I was a missionary there working with kids, and moved home, had no money, and knew I needed to pursue what God had put in my heart to do, which was work with kids, people, and work with churches. And yet I didn't know how that was going to happen. So I moved home, lived with my parents, which I love my parents, but it's really hard to move in with your parents after you've been away for 8 years and lived on your own and owned your own home and all of that. And so
you think it's hard for you? Can you imagine what it's like for the parents?
I know. God bless my parents. I think they barely survived it. But anyways, all that to say, I came home and I had no money. And was, working at Fairway, painting houses, doing whatever I could do. And I went through Financial Peace University, and it's such a great, solid program. You don't have to have money to start it. And I loved that. I loved that I could get in it and, and just put my little tiny bit away and whatever I had. And so I've done that, and God's just been really good to do that. It's fun for me to be able to have an emergency fund put away right now so that if something happens. And it's funny, you build your emergency fund and then you feel like it's always being drained, but that's what it's there for. It's there for when that car goes out, and my car has spent more time in the shop than it has with me. And so it's what it's there for. So I subscribe to it. I love it. It's a great class. I really loved the group I was with too. We kind of became friends because you're going through this together, and you don't have to, none of us had it all figured out. And the amount of money we had or didn't have didn't matter because none of us knew how to handle our money. So it was really fun. And for me, I find great power in sitting down and telling my money where to go instead of it telling me what to do. And so I love nothing more than at the beginning of the month, sitting down with my little tiny paycheck and putting it into the columns, and I get to tell my money where it's going. And that's been my most favorite thing. I'm kind of a nerd that I like that, and it's been really fun. So
Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University will be available for you again through Faith Community Church starts
Tuesday, August 27th. It's going to be from 7 to 8:45, and it will stay on Tuesday nights. The kits are $99, and a lot of people go, I don't have $99. It is worth it to you to find that $99. And believe me, I had no money, literally no money, and I think I painted a room probably at next door at Steve Berendez's office so I could buy my kit. It's worth it to you to invest in that $99. And if you're serious about getting your money in order, you need to put some effort into it. And so it's $99 for the kit. And I think it's a 12-week course. I don't have that information in front of me, but it's a blessing. You will love Dave Ramsey's a lot of fun. His videos are fun to listen to. You're going to meet other people who are just like you. And then you'll find encouragement. It's been really fun to stay connected with the people from that class, and even some of the ones that came in and guest taught, and go and sit down with them with my budget and go, how do I pay this bill off? I'm up to here in school debt. How do I begin to get out of that? And so I found that to be really a blessing. So you can find out more information. You can call the church, get signed up. Church number 623-3472. And again, that starts Tuesday, August 27th. The kits are $99. That's all you'll pay for the class. And it goes from 7 to 8:45. Totally worth your investment. Totally worth your time. And really, it can, if you allow it to, it will change your life, and it will change how you live and how you work with your money. And I remember when I first started doing it, because I had started doing the principles before I took the class, because I don't know, I'm backwards sometimes. So I was living in Idaho, and I knew enough that I wanted to put money aside. So I would put cash in my freezer, and I had an envelope for my trip to Europe, because I had this trip to Europe planned with friends, and I kept putting money aside. Well, I was able to go to Europe. I went on a 10-day trip, paid all cash for it, and I saved money because I'm a nerd and I totally know how to get all the deals, but I paid cash for the entire trip, no credit card debt, because I was putting the principles into place. And people thought I was making a lot of money. Well, I wasn't making a lot of money. I just knew what I wanted to save up for. And so I did that. And so you can do that. You can take a trip to Europe. I had the money set aside. I had money in my emergency fund and all of that. So you'll be really surprised how you will make a lot happen with very little.
If you'd like to learn more about the Financial Peace University and or get signed up, as Melissa Joy McDonald said, you can call the church building at 712-623-3472. But 27th of August is not that far away.
No, it's coming up soon. So you want to get signed up for that. You
need to be thinking about making a commitment to it. And obviously you were fairly young when you took it then.
Thank you for saying that.
And so it isn't just for old people that are struggling financially.
No, it's for anyone.
It's a principle that the quicker you learn and adopt and make a part of your lifestyle, the more enjoyable life will be for you.
Absolutely. And I think the younger you are to start it, even better, because then it just becomes a way of life. So I'm used to that. I'm used to putting money in the envelopes. And, so when I need to pay my cell phone bill, I've got my money put aside for that. And it doesn't surprise me and all that. So, yeah, the younger you are, I've also watched older people go through it. It completely changes their life. Even my parents, who were terrible with money, and my dad will fully admit that. We were always poor. We were always struggling. And when my sisters and I joke about the one Christmas we were sent on a scavenger hunt for our Christmas present, and it was winter coats. And that was so lame. And I think there were Rolaids in the pockets or something. And it was just but that's just how we grew up, was very poor. And a lot of that was just poor management of money on my parents. And to watch what God's done as they've gotten their money in line has been amazing. And they're able to just bless people. They're able to bless their kids. They're able to do a lot more. So, and they started that later in life, and God has blessed them completely. So, no matter the age, but man, if you're young, I'm single, young, and so you can do that. You can start early, and I'm so glad that I started doing that early, and it's kind of just a way of life for me.
Young and single and financially sound. Any particular type individual you're looking for, Melissa?
I knew when I said that I was setting myself up for something.
We can mention it now and then put it on swap time this evening.
No, I will not be on swap time, Jerry.
see if we can find the perfect guy for you.
Yeah, that's great. It's kind of warm in this office.
You've obviously got a lot to offer, so there's got to be somebody out there that would be ready to jump on that.
Thank you.
On a little more serious note, the truth of the matter is that a lot of marriages have been destroyed, a lot of hearts have been broken, a lot of families have been destroyed because of an inability to manage financially.
Yeah.
And if you are not effectively managing financially, it puts an undue amount of stress on you and the people around you that can be changed. That it doesn't have to be that way. And challenge me or correct me where I'm wrong, Melissa, but it doesn't have to be that way. And if you are one of those people that finds yourself struggling at the end of the month, there's always more month than there is money left. Here's an opportunity for you to really turn your life around and find a peace. The reason they call it the Financial Peace University, that you're not being able to find right now.
Yeah. And I think the important thing is, too, you do not have to have yourself put together by any means to come and start this class. I mean, you pull that $99 together. I know that's going to be a sacrifice for people. I think even today that would be hard for me to pull $99. I'd have to pull out of my emergency fund. But pull it together. You do not have to. I mean, you can come with debt beyond belief. You can come struggling in tears. You will find some stuff that works here for you. And fights about money are one of the top reasons people get divorced, because we don't know how to handle money as a couple, and one wants to spend and one wants to save and all of that. And so come together, make this commitment. I mean, you might not want to commit to going to counseling, but come to Financial Peace and see what God might do. A lot of it you do end up with just kind of pouring your heart out to different people. Or you don't have to, but you don't have to be put together. You don't have to have a start on a good budget. Come messy, come just, I don't know what I'm doing, because that's where you will find some peace. And
if two people come as a couple, do they each have to pay $99?
No. The kit is just $99. You can do it as a couple for $99. So that's helpful.
Starts August the 27th. Conducted right there at Faith Community Church.
Yep.
But you do need to make a commitment to it every Tuesday night.
You do. You don't want to miss this, and they want you to be there. So if you can get away, it's not even 2 hours. So think 2 hours on a Tuesday night. You can get home in time to watch the news. You can get home to watch your TV. But this, you will not regret committing to this. I promise you.
So Faith Community, we've talked about that last week, but they've just come through their challenge program. They've just come through their vacation Bible school. They've just had some very, very successful, meaningful, beneficial ministries that they've completed, now moving into the fall program.
Yep, moving into the fall. I don't know if you heard about Vacation Bible School and that I had to kiss a pig.
I did hear about that.
I'm actually not over that yet, Jerry.
Is that right?
So, no, that was horrible. That pig had a runny nose.
I see.
And it looked at me like it was awful. So I am not easily, that was by far the nastiest thing I have ever done for children. And I will never do that again. I've kissed a goat. I will kiss a goat over a pig. Anyways, So that was awful, but we were really excited
So
about
she's kind of into animals, in case you're,
No,
you
I'm
know.
not. I'm not. I think I got a rash.
You-
Anyways, yeah, so we're moving into fall. We're, the rest of August will be a little quieter, and then starting September, we'll get into it. I believe youth ministry starts up September 11th, if I remember correctly, and so that will be 5th through 12th grade. We'll be starting up, and we'll give you more details as they come. But gearing up for fall and all of that exciting stuff. I don't know what we're planning for Christmas, but we always plan something. So
It's going to be down in the fellowship hall this year.
is it? Well, see, you know more than I do.
Yep, it's going to have a whole new, different look. We're going to do it down in the fellowship hall. It's going to be the best, most elaborate, heart-touching Christmas performance so far, and we've had some wonderful ones.
Written by you?
No, I'm not writing it. I just know the people that the Lord's using to be involved in it, and it's going to be a wonderful thing.
Well, that's awesome. I have not heard that, but
Yeah.
I am not in town often, so
That's right.
well, good to know. So yeah, we're entering into fall. Excited about that. We'll have our trunk or treat coming up on the 31st of October for Halloween and all sorts of stuff. So you can always check our website. You can always call the church and find out what's going on, or swing on by. We love to visit with people too.
What time are the services on Sunday?
They are at 9 and 10:45. Cannot believe I got that right. You were asking hard questions.
Very
I
good.
knew when my dad texted me last night, I want to say, asking me to do this because he was desperate, leaving town, all that stuff. I said, Dad, you got to give me a little more information. So he texted me right before I started and said, make me look good. So bless his heart, it's in the right spot. But yeah, so 9 and 10:45, and both exactly same services. We don't have a contemporary or conservative one. Just come, and they're great. We love to have you. It's a great place, and we have really good coffee.
And if you have a need, it may not come during that time on Sunday. Call the church building and know that they are there to help assist people with whatever needs they might have at any time that need might hit. So don't hesitate to call the church
Yeah,
building.
we're here to serve our community. We're here for you guys, and pleased, pleasured, and just honored to be able to serve you guys this way.
So what's the name of the church building? The church?
Faith Community Church,
Located where?
2701 North 8th Street, right across from Villa Village. north side
Telephone
of
number
it.
is?
712-623-3472.
Pastor is?
Pastor David McDonald
And
Connie McDonald.
his children, their children are?
Children are Melissa, Sharisa, Elisa.
Thanks for coming in. Anything else I don't know, that I'd want to know so everybody can know, Melissa?
I don't think so. Other than it's about 50 degrees cooler here than it was in Arizona yesterday, and I'm chilly, but I'm really excited about the rain. But yeah, I think the big thing is too, kids start at school today, right?
They did start at school today.
What a great time to take a minute to just be praying for them and for the teachers. I spent some time before I came in this morning. It's a new school year, and I think we should be covering our kids and our teachers in prayer for the year. So.
In fact, Faith does a thing, walk around the building or something, don't you? And you take this very seriously.
We do. We believe in our kids. We believe in the schools they're in, and we also know it's hard. It's hard to, if you know the Lord and have a relationship with Him, it's hard to stand firm sometimes. So actually, last night they were out, I believe, at Stanton and Shenandoah high schools, doing some prayer walking and loving on our kids there. And so,
Very good.
Yep, we care about our school systems.
We're blessed to have you and your family and Faith Community Church and the people of faith in our community, and it's a pleasure to visit with you. Thanks for coming
Pleasure to visit
in.
you. We're blessed by you, Jerry. Thanks for taking the time and for loving our community as much as you do as well.
We truly do. And so don't forget, Financial Peace University, August 27th. If you have questions, give them a call. But it could truly make a significant difference in your life and the life of your family. So give it some serious consideration. And as Melissa very adequately stated, don't let the $99 keep you away. If you're serious about getting your financials in order, the $99 will be made available some way. God will give you an opportunity to make $99.
Absolutely.
So, Melissa, good luck to you. Think about this swap time thing if you want me to run a little ad for you.
I'll be sure to don't call me. I'll call you, Jerry, okay?
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
I'm already beginning to put things together in my mind.
It's scary.
Handsome young man with runny-nosed pig.
Thank you.
Make it a good day. God bless you. Melissa McDonald with us from Faith Community Church, Faith on 8th in Red Oak. A pleasure to visit with her. It's 6 minutes past 11 o'clock, 57 degrees.